Okay, so I decided that we're going to do a little different than the ABCs of menopause. We're going to do something um, menopause related. We're going to talk about my breast reduction. I wanted a breast reduction for a very long time, and menopause just exacerbated it. So, 2007, I had my last baby. 2009, I went to a plastic surgeon. Went to the plastic surgeon, and they were like, "We absolutely can do it." But the way my finances were set up, I could absolutely not do it. Over the years, I considered it and thought about it, and then changed my mind. Fast forward to March 2023, which was my birthday, my 53rd birthday. And I decided that I would go with my best friend and my daughter to Miami. So we had a trip planned and had a fabulous time, got there, and it was just what I had hoped it would be. The problem was I brought this most stunning Zimmerman dress, and it was backless. So I had to use like a half a roll of tape to tape these bad boys up. By the end of the day in the Miami heat, I had sweat. I had a uniboob because it didn't hold. I didn't really tape them properly. And then at the end of the night, when we got back to the hotel, standing in the shower with the two of them trying to help me peel this tape off. Again, this is vanity based, so don't come for me. It's just I was frustrated. So I come home from the trip to Eddie and tell him I just really want to get this done. And he's like, okay. So he's like, do whatever makes you happy. I kind of hemmed and hawed a little bit and then decided the beginning of June, I'm like, I'm going to do it. I did some research. I found doctors. I found doctors on TikTok, found doctors on Instagram, I found doctors word of mouth, did several consultations. And the side note is I know a lot of people talk about going out of the country. I chose not to go out of the country for several reasons, but the main reason is that if something goes wrong, I need to be able to knock on your door. That's it, that's all. And after over a certain age, anesthesia is very dangerous. It's a serious thing. And so I needed to be sure that this was not going to be a one and done. So I went with Dr. Singh. So after consulting with him and talking about it, and another reason I chose not to go out of the country is I had to have a lot of pre-op testing. I had to make sure I had an up-to-date mammogram, test X, had to have blood work, and I had to have my medical doctor sign off that I was medically fit to have the procedure. And the reason I do the air quotes is this: anything can go wrong at any time when there is surgery involved. But he had to sign off that I was physically fit as far as they could tell by my blood work. If I had high blood pressure, I had any lumps in my breast, that if I had any that were something to be concerned with, that I would clotting, that any of these things before I had this stupid elective surgery that I chose to have. So once that was all done, we were good to go. And June 23rd, I drove into Manhattan to have this procedure. Get into the building and we do markups with the marker like you see on television. They did pictures, side, up, down, around the corner. We had discussed previously what I wanted, and we discussed again that I would have gone to none. You could take them all off. Just leave me a nipple. But he said no. He said, you need to have, something. And obviously I'm joking. So my back in the day was 34C. I was happy with 34C. There was nothing wrong with my 34Cs. By the time of the procedure, I was a 34 triple D or a G and heavy. And because and menopause took the last bit of density out. So here down was flat. There was no fullness here, which was where your breasts are full. We agreed on the 34C was a great thing to do. Kissed everybody. They wrapped me all up, and then we went into surgery. Surgery was several hours, and one of the issues that we had during surgery is apparently I tried to wake up during surgery. Listen, I got things to do, and which is one of the reasons why I was very grateful to have a anesthesiologist that was on it to make sure that I was okay. Surgery's over and they wake me up. I felt like I had gotten hit by a bus. I'm not sure what it feels like to be hit by a bus, but I'm pretty sure that this was close. I felt like my ribs had been cracked, and I was like, it was painful. That's what you get. Ask for this. Anyway, one of the things that we had to have is you had to have a special compression bra, adjustable straps, zipper, holds you in, and it needs to be snug. I had purchased several of these, and you can buy them on Amazon, and they gave me the ones they suggested ones to me, and I bought several. This one is one of the few that survived because, again, this was surgery with stitches and bleeding. So some of the bras did not survive. They ended up getting tossed out. This one was at the later time, towards the end of me having to wear a compression garment. Patched me all up, hustled me into the car, and that was a long ride home. Every bump I felt in those breasts, but we got home Friday night. Slept drugged because I was given an antibiotic and a pain medication because you had your breast chopped up. The procedure itself, I had a anchor incision, which is exactly like you can imagine a kid drawing an anchor in school, a line and a U. And they took the nipple off and they removed 3 cups of tissue from the breast total. So like 1.5 each, and sewed me back up and put my nipple back on. I was warned that some people use sensitivity in their nipple. I am grateful that it is almost, we're heading into a year that I have not had that. I've had it, it's been fine. Stitches were dissolvable thread, so that was good. After a week, I mean, they were still in there. I'm just giving you all the details. After a week, I went back to see the doctor. My procedure on Friday the 23rd, and I went back into the office on Thursday of the following week. I was definitely like walking gingerly, not doing any jumping jacks. I still was a little bit, I couldn't lift things or anything, but other than that, my pain threshold is pretty good. As the time went on, again, another reason that I choose to have a procedure at home is because at one point, like, I'm looking at these things all the time, and I noticed like looked like a suture coming out. I literally called Dr. Singh FaceTime with like my boob out. Like, what is this? And he's like, that is normal. It's called suture spitting. It's okay. And he asked me if I needed to come in. From the time I had the surgery until about 2 weeks after, they called me constantly. I could call him anytime. I was able to text him if I had any questions, and I felt really comfortable about the choice that I made. Dr. Singh suggested silicone scar sheets to put on the incisions to protect the integrity of the scars and to help with the healing process. And we are 10 months out. This was like 2 weeks after having them done. And I wasn't going to talk about it because I didn't think anybody cared, but people noticed. And so I did do a live about it, but I didn't save it. And so I decided to make a YouTube about it to keep it up there for perpetuity. And that if people have questions, if you want to know anything about it, I'm happy to answer those questions. I'm not ashamed about it. It was several $1,000s and it was an elective procedure, so I did have to pay for it myself. Thanks for listening, and that's my story about my breast reduction.